As of right now, this is an emergency broadcast. This is 4 a.m. my time, Central. But some news came out just now that we're going to need to go ahead and talk about and share, since everyone else is going to be extremely timid and reluctant about talking about this topic. Right now, I watched a bunch of these interviews about the crash earlier, right?
DC officials
When you watch these people
try to limit
talk,
families and
everyone is very confused, pretending to be confused. Everyone seems very reluctant to actually say what might have happened. But the further you go from watching left wing media and left wing people talk about it, the more pragmatic the responses get. This is starting to remind me of back when this happened, right? In Nashville.
Nashville releasing this chilling surveillance video showing the terrifying moments the shooter blasted their way into the small private Presbyterian school. The video also shows the armed person entering a church office and later stalking the halls with an AR-style weapon drawn. Police calling the attack on the Covenant School targeted.
We have a manifesto, we have a map drawn out of how this was all.
Look how long it takes them to mention that the person is trans. It takes them way too long to identify the identity of this person. That should have been the first thing they led with. But everyone's so interested in virtue signaling or also being PC. You even have a black head cop. It's weird. 13% of the population, yet they're magically involved in every single scenario. I mean, look at this. Even the mayor here, none of it, the numbers aren't adding up. It's looking coordinated. But look how long it takes for them to mention this person's identity.
Going to take place.
Police in Nashville releasing this chilling surveillance video showing the terrifying.
So actually, the person on YouTube who posted it had to tell you that this is a trans shooter. Nobody wants to tell you that this person's trans. So this was weeks, maybe over a month before they finally admitted that this person was from that trans community. Now, as far as this extremely strange helicopter crash that just barreled into a airplane, I'm here. Initially, we're hearing conflicting reports. This Black Hawk, yes, these Black Hawks do have the capability to be remotely controlled. If you look at it, tablet-controlled robotic Black Hawk helicopters are being used to fight fires. This is not brand new technology. It's a couple of years old. DARPA developed it along with the Department of Defense. So people were saying that this could have been a remote-controlled helicopter. But then something happens. It's starting to come out that they did mention that there were three people on the helicopter, 2 males, but there was 1 female, but they were kind of iffy about if it was a female or not. And now we know who they're talking about. I think we have one. And by have one, I think we have another terrorist attack. I don't think none of this makes sense. Why would a helicopter with its lights on go directly towards an airplane with all of its lights on when those 2 paths should not have crossed? I don't understand why they said the air traffic controller was overworked and it was 1 person and it should have been 2. That right there seems like a DEI failure. Maybe that's why they didn't have 2 people there, is because they're trying to strain the system so much that you're going to beg for DEI hires because they won't hire anybody who's not black or gay or disabled. If you listen to what the president said earlier, they're looking to hire for air traffic controllers people with severe mental disabilities. But I'm not supposed to say nothing about it. I'm supposed to just say, oh, yeah, that's normal. They're just trying to be fair. Why not hire them to work somewhere like, I don't know, outdoors at a park or at a library where they can't hurt anyone? Why would you want to put them on an airplane or in an air traffic control room? A transgender Black Hawk helicopter pilot for the military wrote a long letter about gender dysphoria and depression 1 day before the fatal crash. there's been, I don't know how many trans terror attacks in the last, I don't know, 6 months. We're finding out that all of these are gay and trans people. My proposal is that we are at war with gay and trans people because the World Economic Forum has been attacking our country. We've been at war with them for years. Who runs the World Economic Forum? Several gay men, many are cross-dressers, and they're in control over the G7 countries, and they've penetrated our cabinets of our countries, admitted by Klaus Schwab. So this is all top-down governance, and they're also the people behind the ESG, environmental social governance, which is above DEI. They're literally putting their people in place so that they can be, I guess, sleeper cells to bring down our republic and also these companies that are in our republic. But now also not just our republic, but look at our military. Matter of fact, look at Los Angeles. A gay lesbian woman is telling you that she's not going to be able to carry your husband out of a fire, and he shouldn't have had himself in the fire in the first place. Complete incompetence is bringing down cities, companies, country, and now they're committing acts of terror, and nobody's saying anything about it because everyone's worried about being canceled, being attacked online. Everyone's afraid of the wrong things. What about the bigger picture? What about the bottom line? There is a pattern amongst these trans people. If you're a trans person, the clock is stamped on your life. You have an expiration date coming up, and it's going to be sooner than a lot of people because you're going to set it yourself. These people don't typically live longer than they don't make it past the age of 34 before they self-delete. They have no family. You know, when you look at humans and how we've behaved throughout history, men are willing to go to war and die to protect their women and children at home and their way of life and their beliefs. These people don't have children. They sterilized themselves long ago. They really can't even have sex. The only time they can have any kind of sex is if they chop their whatever off and some sick perv is trying to pretend that it's a vagina, but it's really just an open crevice that if it closes, you're going to die from a blood infection, since what they make the fake woman organ out of is made from your lower intestines, which has fecal matter, which eventually will seep into your blood if the wound closes. So they have to use something called a dilator to keep it open. It's an extremely disgusting and horrible way of life. So why are they holding on? And the truth is they're not. They don't have children, so they don't have purpose. They don't have a wife, they don't have a family, they don't have purpose. But when you give them a job, or when you tell them that their name's going to be known and remembered because they're terrorists, well, now you're making the same argument that they made to Al Qaeda or to the suicide bombers of Pearl Harbor. This is actually a breeding ground for these people that are willing to, how we say it nowadays, just crash out because they don't care about their life, because for them, there is no tomorrow. They have no children. They're not worried about 6 months from now, 6 years from now. They're not worried about stability, the economy, our society. This is it. So there is a pattern amongst them. And now we have to literally figure out how we can track, trace, and database people with this particular mental illness. This gender dysphoria is serious. When you have it, and the things that you've done to yourself, typically at a younger age, if you're a male, but you took gender drugs and you took puberty blockers, you're going to have a micro penis. That means you're not going to have a girlfriend, even if you grow out of the whole gender phase that you're in, which usually happens around 17. That's why they got to get the kids young. When you grow out of it, you realize all the things you did when you were younger and you were manipulated. You know, maybe you were autistic and they convinced you that you were gay or trans. And all those things that you've done, you have to live with in the future as an adult, and you grow up. And when you realize you're not going to have a girlfriend, you're not going to have a wife, you can't really have kids, the depression seeps in, and these people self-delete. That's why I tell people, pushing this ideology on people is not even the gay agenda, because gays are against a lot of this. This is the depopulation agenda. This is how you get people to lower their numbers, by doing it themselves. You can't drop one nuke and knock out millions of people. That's only on Netflix. In real life, to delete people, especially large amounts of them, is very difficult. Just ask Bill Gates. He's in Africa right now trying to figure out to this day how to specifically wipe out these American communist black people, but not wipe out his own children at the same time, because we're all humans. They're trying to find ways to create drugs or pathogens that can specifically attack only people with certain receptors in their cells, so that it only attacks certain demographics of people. Problem is, with Americans, we're all mixed. We might appear one way and be from somewhere completely different. I'm Cuban, for example. How do you differentiate Cubans and Dominicans, or Cubans and Haitians, or It takes extreme science to be able to work on someone's genetics with a scalpel like that and make something specifically for them. Now, they figured out how to target men. That's why if you look at the numbers of people that have not survived what happened in 2021, it's 94% men. You can target men because you can target testosterone levels, but targeting specific men within certain groups is not easy. Just ask all those biolabs they found in the Ukraine that were trying to target Russians with something that wouldn't also harm Ukrainians. They couldn't complete the mission. That's why they failed, and that's why they're losing this war. They've been trying to figure out how to do it. They can't. So the best way that you can do it is manipulate them mentally into doing your dirty work themselves, doing your dirty work for them yourself. Do it to yourself, but also take some others out with you. This is one person. And there were two other people on board the helicopter and 60 on the airplane. There are no survivors. So I think this is if this is a terror attack, then this was more successful than this one right here. Because in Nashville and these other schools, remember, and they always try to target kids and children and also Christian, because they're afraid of men. They're afraid of straight white men. So what they do, they go after white children. For some reason, the trans, even if they're white, they don't consider themselves white. They're trans. So they don't have a color situation. It's a gender ideology. It's a mental illness. Man. Okay. And people are trying to blame Pete Hegseth for not removing the mentally ill. He just got confirmed a few days ago. It's going to take time to purge these people out of the military, but now you can understand why we're doing it so fast, why Trump is doing this at extreme speeds. Time is of the essence right now. Every day that these people are in critical infrastructure positions or in our military or have access to vehicles or weapons is a day that something else can happen. We have to identify these people and stop them. But think about it. They've demonized pattern recognition for the past 20 years. They call it profiling. That's normal. You're supposed to profile people because you should be an intelligent adult and you'd want to avoid danger if you see it down the road. Just blindly closing your eyes thinking it's okay to walk by certain people knowing there's a high risk that, they might try to rob you or do something to you, is just foolish. And it's idiotic that you would think that you live in such a safe place that you don't have to. We have locks on our doors at night for a reason. It's because you can't trust everyone around you. There are people out to get you and harm you. And you have to be proactive about your own self-defense. That's why I'm in Texas. In California, I was a sitting duck every day when I got out of my car, every day when I was walking into the building I live in. And if somebody decided to do a home invasion, I'm a sitting duck. There's no way for me to legally defend myself, and I will go to prison by doing so, no matter if I'm the victim, no matter what. At least in a red state, you stand a chance to defend yourself and your family without having to worry about being prosecuted. At least you stand a chance. That's why we don't have a lot of those problems here. That's why everyone's trying to move here and get out of there. And there is where these people are. This is their stronghold, California, and also now DC, because a lot of them have been hired by the government in the last few years. And that's why they have to be purged, because they were hired under these DEI mandates, which it seems like they just planted a bomb that once they got out of office, they could remotely detonate from a safe location. Because this is not random. This is not a natural progression of society. This has all literally been designed to go this way. Well, let's listen to this short audio that apparently came from the trans person who committed this terror attack earlier today.
I would say mostly growing up with a family of service. As I mentioned in my essay, my father worked many years for the Christian Broadcasting Network 700 Club, Pat Robertson. I wouldn't say that he aligned 100% with those views, but it was the culture and the vibe in the house. Today, I've found acceptance in the Jewish faith, and I started doing courses at my local synagogue and finding a lot of community and spiritual practice in Judaism, believe it or not, which is not something I would have thought I would have moved towards, but something just feels like it's calling me in that direction. So I'm really proud to be learning about that faith and understanding what it means. And if I decide later to convert, that'll be a choice I'll make probably another year once I've get.
Yeah, when you don't have kids and you don't have a family, you know they say idle hands are the devil's workshop. This person is obviously all over the place, and they're trying to explore Judaism. They have nothing. They have no responsibilities in life. They have nothing driving them to wake up every day. So they're trying to find meaning of life. And when they run out of things to find in a short period of time, they only can find meaning in death. Again, they don't make it past the age of 34 on average. And no one wants to do the research to actually bring that data together. So what I did is I just look up and I go through my personal history, people I've met that self-deleted, and I go through Facebook and I ask, hey, how did such die? And I look through these reports. For the most part, they do not make it. 34 is the magic number. I mean, look at the guy Twitch that was on the Ellen show. 33 when he self-deleted because he had a history of doing this kind of stuff in his past. So let me just read it to you because, this is a mentally ill person just, blabbering. But and I hate that they're referring to this man as a she. It is a he. He is a man pretending in cosplay to be a woman. But even validating or affirming or whatever you want to call it, that did not stop this man from committing a terror attack. So you think that you can appease these people and make them happy and be respectful to them, and that will stop them from literally crashing out and going over the edge and committing these crimes? No, you're just delaying the inevitable. You have to address it on the spot. If not, then if you give this person time to walk away from you, when they come back, they're going to bring a firearm. This is a war. And when they talked about the enemy from within, this person is a citizen who speaks English. They are already within our society. Again, that's why I use the term a sleeper cell. But it says meet Joe Ellis, which was probably Jonathan Ellis not too long before. And I'm just gonna I don't do pronouns. I really don't do adjectives. I don't do any of these different things. I hated it in school, and I'm not gonna do it outside of school. But he is an IT professional in the private sector, is the former digital manager of Smerconish, and serves the Virginia Army National Guard as a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter pilot. He is a transgender and now fears, due to a new executive order by President Trump, that he may no longer be able to serve the country in the military. Oh my God. Today is the 30th. Trump just got inaugurated on the 20th, 10 days. And this person is so afraid that they're going to lose their job and be kicked out, which they should. They're mentally ill. They shouldn't have any clearances. You shouldn't have a weapon, and you shouldn't have access to children. But I mean, it's up for parents to protect their own kids. It's not up to society to protect everyone, because our society doesn't have a kid. Society doesn't have a say in your kids' outcomes anyway. Those are your kids. but you should not have these kind of people around your kids to begin with. But look what it just says. This person is now in fear of losing their job. So it looks like they committed a terror attack where they were basically a suicide bomber, except they used a Black Hawk helicopter and crashed into an airplane and took out other people with them. I tell people, if you ever meet any of these people and talk to them, which I've done, they'll tell you that their existence is very lonely. Well, for one thing, they're men. So existence for men and lonely is the life of a man in general is a lonely life. It's not always. We're not women and children. We're men. So so these are issues that men just have in general, and then this is a mentally ill man. And one thing they do not want to do is they don't want to die alone. So if they can, they're going to take someone else out with them. They're not going to, they'll self-delete, but if they can, they're going to take others with them. And that's why you see these people running into schools and harming kids because they're too afraid of actually going at a man. So they're going to go after women and children. There's a woman that just killed a Marxist that just killed a little girl at a daycare. Because she was too afraid to kill the girl's parents. So she did this to the girl. It's fear. Wow. So this is already explaining why this happened. This person was at fear. So now you got to worry about other people in the military who share this same ideology and the same mental illness and the same, I guess, mass formation psychosis doing same thing. We have to be on the lookout for we got to look for a copycat attack. There's going to be other copycats. There's going to be other people that are going to want to lash out at Trump being reelected, and they're going to do this. And now I have to worry about every time I wake up in the morning, there's going to be a different story of somebody and the media is going to cover up the fact that this person is trans for weeks because they don't want you to make the connection, because they don't want you to stop these people from doing it. Remember, if it bleeds, it leads. The media wants things like this to happen. They want to see this go on. That's why they don't want you to stop it. They don't want you to acknowledge that there's a pattern, because they don't want you to get in there and be like, oh, what is this? Pre-crime? You're going to stop them before? Yes. If that's what it takes, yes. If we have to profile these people and remove them. So, Trump realized it, and so did everyone in his cabinet. So does the rest of the civilized country. They realize that you cannot leave these people in these positions. It's too dangerous because they're already literally suicidal. They're already looking to self-delete anyway. And what if they don't want to go alone in a hotel room or just jump off of a bridge or a building? What if they want to make a splash? They want their name to be highlighted in the media, and they want to pretend like they had a cause. What if they want to be a martyr? Doesn't everybody feel like they want to be a martyr one day? You give me a chance to run into a fire and save some children, knowing that I'm going to probably die saving these kids. As long as the kids get out, I would be a martyr because that's my cause. As an adult man, if I can't protect children, then what good am I? But these people work at the opposite end of that spectrum. If they can't harm kids or harm others, then what good are they?
All the prerequisite learnings of that faith.
Joe, what drew you toward military service?
I would say mostly growing up with a family of service. As I mentioned in my essay.
And this is the helicopter directly doing a head-on collision with an airplane. And obviously, they were warned. They saw the airplane, and this was deliberate. No one wants to talk about it. They want to talk about everything around it. They want to talk about going into the water and retrieving the bodies and looking for. They don't want to talk about who did it because they're not allowed to. This is also a protected class. Trump's back. He's only been in office 10 days, 9 days. We have years to go. How many more of these are we going to see before we acknowledge that DEI kills? This is a DEI hire. This is the diversity of thoughts. They basically, if we're all on the same page that America should be first and we're here in the military to protect our country, that should be the only thought. a diverse thought would be a counter argument that, well, the country is not worth saving, and I hate the country and I want to see the country burn. That's a diverse thought. We should all be thinking the same thing when you're in our military or around critical systems. We should be on the same page. There should not be any diversity of thought whatsoever. But again, DEI is a Trojan horse to bring down companies, cities, states, and governments. And right now we're watching it happen before our eyes. Wow. Wow. Anyway, do me a favor, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Instagram, like and subscribe. I'll read your comments after, but I'm not in shock. I'm upset because we knew this was going to happen. You know how many more of these trans shooters there have been? They're only talking about Nashville at first, but there's been others. There's been other kids, and no one wants to tell you, well, what's really going on in these kids' head. They don't want you to know that they're trans because, well, then you might start to profile them and you can stop them ahead of time. They don't want you to do that. If the media is behind the push for this whole agenda, then kids are essentially weapons. These people are essentially weapons of the media, and whoever controls the media controls these weapons. Why would they want to disarm themselves? And I guess conservatives or people like myself who have families and believe in, the future and maritime people like myself were the enemy. I mean, we're diametrically opposed ideologically. We can't coexist because you want to target children and you want to take others out because you want to self-delete anyway. That's a huge. Why do you think they hold that over your head when they're trying to get you to affirm your child's nonsense or go along with a pedophile suggestion on how you should raise your child? Because they're saying, well, if you don't, they're going to self-delete. Do you know what that means when you're already ready to self-delete if you don't get your way about something? That means you're already on the edge. So you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and it's over that day. Because you're not thinking about tomorrow. There is no tomorrow for these people. There is nothing for them to protect or look forward to. They don't have children. That's why, and you see now that our government has been restored and law and order is restored, they're telling you, have children. We want you to have families. It gives you structure. It gives you something to live for. I don't have children right now, but guess what? I can get married tomorrow and have children. That keeps me motivated to go forward in life and to work. Without that, I don't know what motivates a man if it's not his family and his duty to his family and his responsibilities. I have no idea what else there is. Humans are simple. We pretend to be complex, but trying to reinvent the wheel this late in human history doesn't make any sense. We've only lived a certain way. You see so many problems in our society because everyone's trying to do things differently. Again, it's kind of like trying to figure out that, oh, well, since we live in an advanced age in the future, we should water our grass with Gatorade. That's, you can't go against nature. Being transgender is going against nature. And it goes against nature because these people literally delete themselves. And because they can't go against nature. Yeah, and this isn't the only person. There's been more all over the country, and they never want to tell you that this kid was gay or trans. They don't want you to know. And apparently this was the pilot that purposely crashed into this plane. A DEI hired trans person given a vehicle that could be used as a weapon. Yeah, like and subscribe to the page. I'll come back when we have more information. It's middle of the morning. I'm gonna take a short nap. When I get up, I'll be back on, and we'll. I'm probably gonna have another co-host today. Rocky, Red Pill Rocky 3 on Instagram was the co-host earlier, and we're gonna do another late night show tomorrow. The America First Daily News. Like and subscribe if you're watching this on Instagram, but we're trying to get more subscribers on the YouTube page because that's where we're gonna have a bulk of our content posted, and we're trying to watch what we say because we want to keep the YouTube gods happy. We don't want to run afoul with them. That's how our other pages got deleted. But it is important that we read the news and we get this information out there because there might be somebody sitting next to you that's a part of that community. And you need to look ahead of time to see where they're going or what they're about to do, because you might be the hero that has to stop them. Someone's going to have to do it. And we're not going to be able to pity pat and dance around and pretend like, you know, we can put kids' gloves on these people and tap, tap. No, no, no. This is war. They're more of a threat than any terrorist cell from another part of the world that we don't have anything to worry about. This is actually the real threat. And I'm so proud that our government is starting to see that and they're doing what they can, but I don't know if it's a little bit too late. If this is what happened today, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? What do we got to look forward to over the weekend? How many people are not going to be here by Monday because of trans people, you know, rebelling and wanting to fight back by doing stuff to other people in the name of their anger against Trump? We got to keep that in consideration. So anyway, like and subscribe to the page. I'll be back on with another video shortly. Thank you. And here comes a word from our sponsor, cosigning.com. If you need an apartment, but you don't have anyone to co-sign for you, it's too much of a strain on friends or family by asking, because if they say no, it's going to be a problem. Reach out to cosigning.com. They'll help you. They'll help you get approved for the apartment of your dreams, and then you can have your new home, maybe in a red state if you're trying to get out of a blue one. So we'll be back shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.